days go by so fast. Well, there goes Tatty Tats. Everybody's neck goes spastic. What's up, Poker Cat? You look fanny-pack-tastic. The Amazon's so lively. I'm looking out for Ivy. When he sneak me in the main, I'll sell some pieces. Someone buy me. Everyone knows that this town is special. No one can tell you why. Let's go to Lawrence, Southside Super Satellites. Sell some jars in the home by the bathroom lines. Kessler's vouchers, $3 you can eat tonight. World Series on. Man, I can't wait to go. So far on ESPN. Hopping his got chickens for the seniors event. Let's hit the hundreds of sticks of the outer red. World Series on. Man, I can't wait to go. Man, I can't wait to go.
Good morning, Sherry. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you today?
I'm great.
Awesome.
Yesterday was one of those days, Sherry. I was like, I'm going to go play the 1 o'clock. I'm going to play the 2 o'clock. I'm going to play the 3 o'clock. Okay, now I'll play the 5 o'clock. Now, okay, 6 o'clock. Okay, I better get going here. Otherwise, I'm not staying up all night.
And so you played to 10 p.m.? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, I walked by the 10 p.m. and I said, man, I'm glad I'm not sitting here with these fools.
Okay, so are you telling me you didn't play a tournament yesterday?
I did not play a tournament yesterday.
You know, I'm going to tell you, I'm not surprised because you sounded tired yesterday morning. So I'm going to tell you that you probably made a great unconscious decision because you sound well rested today. Yesterday, you sounded a little bit tired.
All I did is sleep yesterday. Yeah, I was just sleeping. And then I was trying to get my daughter up, which was an impossible task. So then I just said, fine then. So we went to see a movie. That was it.
What'd you guys see?
Some Disney movie in Element or something. I don't know. It was, I don't know. I don't even really know what it was about. It was about fire and water or something.
You should have just went to sleep during the movie. She could have updated you afterward.
Oh, I definitely did. I always go to sleep during the movie. Yeah.
I love it.
All right. So
go for it.
And I got the day wrong here again. So today is day 27 of WSOP. So today at 10 a.m. we have the day 2 of the $1,500 Millionaire Maker, and then 10 a.m. Also starts off the $500 Salute to Warriors event as well. At 12 p.m. the 1K No Limit Seniors Day 4, and then 12 p.m. is the 2,500 PLO High Roller event. And then 1 o'clock is $1,500 Stud High Low Day 2. 2 o'clock is the 10 p.m. the $10,000 Horse Day 3. Also at 2 p.m. is day 1 of the 3K Limit Hold'em 6 Max. And that is what we got going on for today.
Well, you know, I just had to change the title just to mess with you because that is a standing joke with WePro, you know, to get viewers and listeners. And to make the show interesting, you got to say the word boobs, right?
Oh, my gosh.
Gotcha, Brian. Gotcha. You can change it, but I'm just messing with you.
Sherry kept changing the title yesterday.
Oh, it's so funny. But look, it brought us 2 new listeners right away.
It got PPE in here. No boobs.
And Necky too.
No
boobs. It's so funny. Well, as promised, I'm not going to go through. No, we need to do the updates first. Never mind. So looking at event 48, which is the $1,000 seniors event, for some reason they still haven't posted the total amount of entries. I'm not sure what's going on there, but there are 29 left going into today with, of course, that gold bracelet and $731 waiting for the winner. Going into today, Gordon Ing, is it, or Eng, of the United States sits atop of the heap of chips of 15,975,000. Close in second is Lonnie Hallett from Canada with 15,300,000. David Stearns in third with 10,575,000. A lot of poker to be had there still. You have any comments?
Yeah, Billy Baxter, I'm seeing here still in the field. So
He's in seventh place as far as chip stack sizes with 6.4 million. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just tripping out. Like he's in it. Let's see him win it. Dan Heimiller back there in 21st. So quite a
Very
way.
exciting. So they've got millions and millions of chips on on those tables because it was a good field of players. So it'll be fun to see who takes that down today. Going on to event 50 is the 10K pot limit Omaha Championship, which had a very exciting ending for multiple reasons. There is a winner, Lou Graza, who finished for $1.3 million, and of course the gold bracelet. But what was really exciting was he got down on one knee and proposed to his girl right there at the final table after he won it.
That's not what I heard. I heard that he gave away half of his. Gave away half of it.
Hey, please note
the prize pool.
Hey, please note, prenup.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I saw somebody post that. I didn't come up with that.
Well, and Lou went heads up with Arthur Morris, who took home 809,000. And any other comments on that?
No, my buddy Ryan LaPlante. I think he has a bracelet in that event. Yeah, he's the PLO guy for sure.
Oh, cool. Okay. So I posted a picture of the winner, Lou, getting down on one knee, and as Brian said, giving away half of his winnings right on the spot. So on to event number 51, which was the tag team event, which had 1,282 runners, and the team of Michael Savakinas and Stashi, I want to say Tanaka, took home the bracelet and 190,000 for the win. So that's exciting. Two notables for me in sixth place were Marcus Stein and Amber Donatelli. Of course, I like to point out the ladies that are winning because it's so far and few between that they're getting to final tables just because they're outnumbered. And that they took home 34,326. And then in the 10th place team was Ramon Kropmans and Jessica Serial and they're listed as from Brazil. I don't know if they both are or not, but they took home 12,190. Any comments?
Yeah, so this was the one that mid-afternoon, like about 5 o'clock or so, they were saying they were going to shut it down to come back today and stream it, and people were complaining because that would run into day 2 of the Millionaire Maker.
Oh yeah.
So kind of interesting, but 10th place. Ronnie Barda and Justin Pecci came in 10th place.
No, they came in ninth place.
Ninth? Oh,
ninth place.
Okay.
And Justin is actually for those that don't know, Justin is actually Ronnie's brother. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's how it's done. I love last year I played with my brother. This year I was like, okay, I got a chance to play with Dutch there. I'm gonna play with him.
Very cool. Very cool. All
so,
right, going
so
on
how much did they get? 190,000 for first place. So
right. Right on. Event number 52, the $2,500 mixed triple draw low ball, had 353 entries, and Nick Puplillo of the U.S. took home the gold bracelet and $181,978, and he went heads up with Ryan Moriarty, who took home $112,472. Any comments?
It looks like he's got his kid there in the winner's picture.
How fun is that? You snuck him in there, huh? I didn't see
Snuck
that.
him in there.
I didn't
Now
see that pic.
he's holding up his iPhone with them on FaceTime.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah.
Okay, so when I'm not in Vegas and you win that bracelet, that's what I expect. My picture on your cell phone in the picture.
I think my wife and kids might get mad at that, Sherry. I'm not
Well,
sure.
they're gonna be there
They'll
live
probably
in
be there.
person. Look, they'll be live in person. So what are you talking about?
John Minetti comes in 16th, and Robert Mizrachi comes in 17th in that event, and 181,000 for first. So good event.
Good event. Event 53 was the Millionaire Maker, and they actually had um, the update was actually from event 33, and they had it under event 53, so I have no update on that event.
Okay, I'll do it.
So if you want to check it.
Yeah, 10,430 players entered the event, and I don't have, let me see, on day 1B, let's just say day 1B, 5,845 came into day 1B, with 1,310 surviving the day. Z Long Zhang is your chip leader with 407,000, and Vanessa Cade has a good stack going into day 2 with 51,000. Espen Jorstad has 149,000 heading into day 2, and the best player in the field, Jamie Gold, with 83,000.
Exciting. Thank you for that update. Okay, moving on to event 54 is the $10,000 horse championship, which had 165 entries. And there are 17 left going into today, with another familiar name at the top of the heap of chips, with Brian Yoon in first place with 1.4 million in chips, and Connor Drynan has 1.2 million. Christopher Klassen has just a little over 1 million. Scott Sievers in fourth place with 965,000. Carol Fuchs has 865,000. Phil Hellmuth, skipping down, is in eighth place with 700,000 in chips. And a little further down, David Baker is in 10th with 620. And a notable is another female, Esther Taylor, has 180K. You have any comments in that?
Yeah, like everybody left in the event has a bracelet practically. And I'll have to say that this guy, Brian Yoon, again,
right?
Nice guy. He just gave me a bad beat that I can't get over.
He's got the bitter pill again.
Yeah. One of these days. One of these days, we're going to end up in a hand. I'm going to way overplay my hand and get lucky on the river.
Moving on to the event 55 is the $1,500 7-card stud high-low 8 or better. There were 566 entries, 183 remain, with Eric Rodwig in first with 234,500 in chips. Kevin Coate in second place as far as chip stacks are concerned, with 187,000 in chips. And you have any comments on that?
Yeah, 10K to make the final table and 155,000 to win. So again, a good example of why when you make it deep, you've got to put the hammer down and get to the end and win. So,
Nice.
but
Now look, go
John
ahead.
Esposito, did you say he's in 7th place there with
I did not.
103,000? Yeah.
I did not. Um, Looking at the Player of the Year points this morning, nothing. They have not updated it, so probably tomorrow. It looks like they're updating it about every 3 days, so probably tomorrow we'll have an update on that. Moving on to tournaments around town. As promised, I'm going to recommend that you download the Bravo app and the Poker Atlas app because Sherry's on vacation this week and she's not going to look all of those up for you this week. But I'm going to highlight the ladies tournaments because today is the kickoff of Ladies Week in Vegas. So there is a ladies tournament or two every day this week, and it kicks off at the MGM is having the ladies tournament at 6 p.m. It's a no limit tournament, $250 buy-in, 25K starting stack, 20-minute blinds, which progress to 30-minute blinds as the tournament goes on, with a 15K guarantee. And just a little heads up so you can prepare for tomorrow. They're going to have a 1 p.m. ladies tournament at Resorts World, which has a $365 buy-in and a $35,000 guarantee. So go ahead. What you got?
Yeah, and I wanted to say about that. We go over those every day, and the thing is, like, you know, I don't know if you've seen this, Sherry, but after being out here for the summer, and then you go back to your local casino, and then you kind of like wipe the floor with everybody there. Like, I just had that happen like many years in a row when I was new to playing. And I would just say if you're out here and you're playing and you're not doing well at the World Series, consider going and playing a daily somewhere because it can kind of reset what you're doing and like let you play against some softer competition and that kind of thing. I mean, you're gonna in these low buy-in events, you're gonna run into a lot of like, not that great players,
Right, right.
but
Novice, right?
but going over and playing a daily tournament is, believe it or not, even another step down from that in a lot of cases. So, you'll still run into people that are somewhat competent, but a lot of times it's like we talked the other day, right? Like, where should we have Abby play? Well, we're not going to have her play her first event at the World Series, like not even in the daily tournament there, like let's
Right.
have her go play in a $60, tournament somewhere. So, I would just
Great
say
advice.
like
Great points.
it's a good idea if you're, not doing well, to do that. And I kind of discovered that, like I said, after years of saying, hey, wait a second, the years that I did best, by the way, have done best is like years where I didn't do that. Years where instead of afterwards, after the summer, going to my local casino and playing well, I'd go there before and I'd play a lot, like January to June, I'd play more, and then I'd come into June and be, in mid-season form, let's say, versus somebody else that just showed up for the summer. So anyway,
Okay.
just
Good
just,
advice. Good.
just something
I
I'm
mean,
thinking about.
you got to do what's good for you, but that's great advice. That
Yeah.
sometimes you need to go back to maybe a a weaker field tournament just to regain some of your confidence back, right? You might go to a couple of WSOP events and just get, hammered, and you're feeling not so good about your own game and, doubting things. And, in fact, it may not have been you, it may have been 50% you, 20% variance and, 30% playing against jackasses, right? But going back to that weaker field helps you regain those legs and confidence. So I think it's good advice. So I
Yeah,
also
and
want,
it's a lot easier to take, a practice session at, a couple $100 or whatever instead
right,
of, 1,000 or 1,500. So
100%. I want to remind everybody about the celebration of life and legacy of Doyle Brunson is going to be held on July the 2nd at the Jubilee Theater in the Horseshoe Casino. Um, it's going to be at 12 o'clock noon. The doors open at 11:30. The theater only has 1,160 seats, so it's going to be, I think, limited. Um, it is first come, first serve for seating. I did ask Dean Neggs last night if he knew if it was going to be broadcasted, because I knew he was going to be one of the presenters and I thought he might know, and he didn't. But hopefully he's going to find out for us, and that would be nice if it was live. But I can understand the logistics of it. It may have to be recorded and then just put on a reel, rewind reel. So which would also be awesome. So, just a reminder about that. I wanted to bring up a tweet that I saw from a friend of mine, just switching gears if you don't mind.
no, go ahead, Donna. I mean, Shay.
Uh, um, well, thank you for that compliment. Yesterday, my friend Ela Neat, who's from Georgia, posted that they had played the World Series, had changed their deck of cards because they went from the seniors event with the larger print cards back to whatever they normally play with,
Yeah.
and um, they ended up playing with 51 cards instead of 52. And so I asked her, I said, like, how long did that go on for? And I said, how long had y'all been playing with 51 cards? And her reply was one hand. They replaced the senior large print deck, then came right back over with the missing card they figured out was missing. Not sure how they knew. And so, like, how did they know?
A lot of times the dealer's sitting there counting the cards. I mean, I've
No,
seen.
they had played a hand. They took off the deck, they took the deck off the decks off. They left and then they came back
Yeah,
with a card.
yeah, but I've seen. I've seen dealers, when they're like waiting for a decision, them sit there and count the cards. I mean, that's not like normal for your new dealer, but I have seen them do that before. I
A
don't know.
hundred percent.
I don't think it's like necessarily always part of the procedure. I don't know. Maybe Josh
Yeah,
knows
but
more, but
when they fan the cards out, isn't it so they check that they're supposed to be checking right then when they
yeah,
fan them out? I
yeah,
mean,
no, for sure. Like before they definitely are supposed to count them, but you see them go through sometimes, and they're not really like. I've seen them where they're like trying to look and see that all the cards are there rather than just counting them. So
well, and I
and
tell you
those new
what,
dealers really easy for them to make a mistake, I'm sure.
of course, and thank God they caught it after only one hand. Could you imagine if it
Yeah.
was maybe the dealer counted the card like half an hour after they got them, and they're like, "Oh, let me count the cards," and then they're like, "Oh, we're missing a card." How mad would you be?
Yeah, yeah, you'd be like not very happy an hour in
Yeah,
the tournament discovering a card's missing. And it's
you
in
want to.
and it's in some guy named Martin's, like, no, I'm just kidding.
Hey, Josh, you want to come up and give us some updates, bud? We haven't. I don't think we've talked to you since you won your bracelet. So,
Yeah, I'm at it.
congratulations.
Josh, what do you think about that? How do they end up with 51 cards?
I think I tuned in at the very. I didn't hear the whole thing. What happened?
So
Okay, so they
yeah, go
changed
ahead.
out the decks of cards from the larger print for the seniors event
Yeah.
to the normal decks that they use, and they left, like they had the boxes, so they switched out and they left with the boxes, and then they came back with a missing, with what they identified as a card that needed to be in the decks that they left at the table.
Yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't care. It's an honest mistake. Shit happens, and
Right.
it's just it's to nobody's advantage. Nobody knew. I mean, obviously, I don't want to play with a 51 card deck, but it's shit happens, and you just go. You don't. If there's so much bullshit that goes on when putting on these huge events, if you were to let every mistake bother you, it would tear you down. So yeah, I mean, that wouldn't bother me one bit. I would probably find it comical, and I'd look back at when we found out what card it is. I'd look back at how it affected me. Like, was it the 8 of spades, and was I drawn at a spade flush, and I was actually 18% instead of 22%, and because there was one less out. But there's far more important things to focus on, when you're trying to beat the best players or any players, rather than focusing on human error.
Great advice. Great advice. Thank you for it. So congratulations, bud.
I appreciate it. It was a hell of a run, and it was definitely one I won't ever forget.
But yeah,
Well, it was exciting.
you were short, right? I mean, like when
Yeah,
you
I
had
I came back short, but I was even one crazy story is with one hand left in day 3. Yeah, with one hand, the last hand of day 3, we're 3-handed and we're coming back, and I had 53,000, and it's the last hand of 10-20 blind 20-40 limit. So I basically have like 1.2 big bets, and the floor made us stop. They We had played the max that we were allowed to play, and they were making us come back the next day. It's my big blind, and Daniel Adema, I can't remember exactly the pronunciation of his last name.
yeah.
He had a few beers going into the last level, and he decides to not look at his cards on the button and says, I'll let you guys fight it out. Well, the other guy, the guy who came in third, the Japanese guy, I can't remember his name. He raises, puts me all in for 53,000, I believe, is the exact amount. And the cards go face up, and I have the ace 3 of diamonds. The guy that I'm all in against has the jack 6 of diamonds. Daniel, without looking, folded the king 4 of diamonds and would have raised on the button 3-handed with the king 4 of diamonds. Well, we get all in, and the king 4 of diamonds would have knocked me out. He would have caught a 4 on the river and busted me.
Wow.
And so yeah, it was the stars lined up.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, I was still, snookered behind the 8 ball, coming back with like 100,000 at 15-30 blinds, I believe they were
Yeah.
when we came back. So I was still stuck behind the 8 ball, but
But it felt like millions.
yeah, it was. I mean, anytime you make day 4 of a tournament, it's pretty cool,
Yeah.
and I just had this weird sense of calm walking over that next day. I, felt very fortunate about the situation that I was in. There was a tournament that I was wanting to join, the 10K Omaha 8 or better, but I like quickly forgot about it. I won a couple hands early, and yeah, it was just a sun run to remember.
Well, when you guys were you guys were like four-handed, and the Japanese guy was he was first off, that guy was hilarious. He was
Yeah,
having a
that
good time and all that.
he made it a lot of fun.
And I think everybody was having fun, and you were having fun too. But like you and Sean were like in the zone, kind of like doing business. Like you guys were like,
Yeah, no,
you were there to win.
I was definitely hyper focused, and it was one of the things that I thought about. Like, I wanted to like act goofy and kind of let other people's guards down because I knew that the opportunity was there for, other people to play off the Japanese guys. God, I wish I could remember his name. I feel like a dick. Um, but play off of his energy. But I was definitely hyper focused, and I had the right people in my corner. Matt Glantz is as good of a limit hold'em player as there is, and he's giving me pointers all through day 3, all through day 4. And then when it got to shorthanded, I had Eric Wasserson give me head up advice, which was like unbelievable how much it helped me. Like, it made it to where limit hold'em almost was like a system, and I didn't have any decisions to make. And I did as I was told, and I raised when I was supposed to, and it worked. Because I don't play limit hold'em. I mean, I haven't played a limit hold'em cash game in probably 20 years.
Wow.
I don't even play mixed cash games anymore that have limit hold'em in it. I mean, I don't even play cash games anymore. I play PLO less than 5 times a year when I'm bored. Um, but yeah, it was all the people in my corner that helped me get to the victory lane or the victory circle.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
it's a trip to see like some of these guys talk about hands and stuff like that. I when the year that Bax was at the final table, I got to stand kind of by chance and listen to. I was like overhearing kind of like how they would talk about hands and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's like like I've obviously played a ton of hands, but like I'm not even close to the like I'm the high school basketball team compared to the Bulls, like,
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying, and I'm so grateful for. I mean, I have some very, very smart friends that I can lean on, and I mean, I can dissect a hand pretty good, and I can, get when I'm in the zone, I can think some cool shit. But it's there's so many times when I lean on the smart circle of friends that I have, and I've just always gone by the adage, and no matter what I'm doing, just be the dumbest person in the room and you're going to learn something. And I try to absorb everything I can whenever I'm around, people that are successful, and not just in poker. And it's done good for me, and I'm very appreciative for all the people around me, and I don't take this for granted at all.
Well, it's been fun watching you. What are you going to play next?
Today is my Super Bowl. It's the 25K PLO. It is, if there was one event that's on the schedule for the whole WSOP that I would point out and that I would want my fair share of card distribution, it would definitely be this one.
Well, good luck.
Well, I appreciate it.
it's pretty funny that everybody has like that event where it's like everybody it says, oh, the main event, but like everybody really has like that second event that's really like their event, that
Yeah, the
they get
main event.
pumped up
No, I
for.
mean, if anybody if anybody ever tells you that that the main event isn't the one that they want to run good
Right.
in, they're lying. But there is, I can't think of the right word. I keep my expectations, pretty realistic, and maneuvering through a 10,000 player field is awesome and what we all dream of, but realistically, it's the chances of making a deep run in that are just so slight, and PLO is just my best game. I'm super comfortable, and then the shorter field being the high buy-in. It's I love competing, and I'm competing against the best at. It's everybody in the field most people will consider PLO their best game, and I'll just go see what happens.
Yeah, in day, making, you said earlier, making it to day 4, but like making it to day 7, or what is it, 8 by the
Yeah. Oh yeah.
by shorthand.
It's. I think
Like,
I think day 4, like, of the main event, barely breaks in the money. I think the money comes late day 3, maybe early day 4.
yeah,
But it's tough. And then also, like, when you get that deep into a tournament, and I think I made day 4 of the main in 2019 and 2021.
yeah,
And when you get that deep, everybody starts feeling the destiny feeling. Like, it's like everybody got lucky there one time,
right.
and everybody won a couple flips, up to that point. So everybody's starting to build that mojo, and it just makes poker harder. Like, it's when everybody when all of your opponents are playing their best game, no matter what level it is,
Right.
it makes poker a lot tougher.
And the thing, I only got to, I think, day 4 one time in the main, and for me, like, obviously you get into the final room together, and that's kind of like, a whoa, this is like a moment in the tournament, and then you see them start to put away tables for the year, and then you're just looking around and you're saying, my gosh, like, a 10,000 player field, not many people have been to the end of that, right?
Yeah.
But like, all of us have been in fields of, 400 or 500, or whatever it is, and made it to the end, and you're sitting there saying, wow, what if this is the tournament? Like,
Yeah,
that'd be good.
it's really cool, like, seeing the photos of, like, the tables started breaking down. So where in an area where there was 9 tables, there's now 1, and then there's all this room in between tables. I think that's pretty cool. It's I haven't gotten to the table breaking stage in a really long time. I did one time, and I don't even remember in my 2004 run. I don't even remember the table breaking stage. I remember the one thing I remember most is because it was in the Keno room of the old horseshoe, and um the thing I remember most is coming back the last day for the final table, and what used to be a room full of tables was now like auditorium style seating, with one, like, pointed at one table. And so that's like a real distinct memory for me.
A great memory indeed.
Yeah.
Um, you're number 6 on the Player of the Year point list at this point. Of course, they haven't updated it in a couple days, but we know you're in the top 10 for sure. How much does that list play into your mind? Do you think about it? Are you targeting it?
I think about it when I get when I get in the money, I will pull up the prize pool, and I will look, because the Player of the Year point breaks are weird. Most people don't really pay attention to that. I will once in a while. I'll look through and I'll look and see like, okay, I have 100 points locked up, but if I get to 57th place, which nobody is thinking about, but if I get to 57th place, I double that.
Right.
So there are sometimes I'll look at that. Um, as far as my volume, I haven't really picked up my volume yet. Um, I it's been it gets tiring. I mean, I think I saw Maria tweeted yesterday that, hey guys, we're at the halfway point, and I feel my body feels that I'm way past the halfway
Right.
point.
Right.
Um, I'm wore out, but I'm a competitor, and you can bet that if I'm within one tournament striking range of player of the year, with with a couple weeks left, I will definitely pick up my volume. Like yesterday, I got knocked out of the 10K horse, and I just came to the room and laid in the bed all day. I didn't,
Right.
I didn't play the Millie Maker. I didn't play the 1500 stud 8 or better. I don't remember the last no limit hold'em that I played was, I think, in week 1. I haven't played any. Um, it was, but I went on a 5 tournament cash streak where I made, like, there was just a bunch of tournaments where I think I played 5 tournaments in the course of 11 or 12 days. And there were times that, I mean, there's some times that you would play 4 or 5 tournaments in one day. And yeah, my volume has not picked up yet, but I think it's going to in about a week.
Okay. Well, I hope you get some rest too, because we don't want you collapsing, bud.
Yeah, rest is, as I've gotten older. These last few years, I think the key for my success over the last 3 years is, and I've said this publicly multiple times, I used to take Adderall,
Right.
and I don't take Adderall anymore. I stopped taking Adderall in 2019, I think. And I truly believe that that is the key to my success, because I'm able to sleep at night. Like, I
Right.
would take Adderall and then I would fight sleep, and I would sleep for 3 or 4 hours of crappy sleep a night. But here in the past few years, getting between 6 and 9 hours of sleep every night is a huge asset to my ability to stay alert and not miserable. Like, Adderall just did bad things for me. Like, if I away from the table, I mean, at the table, Adderall is good, but like the minute I mix a drink in, or
Oh,
anything, the minute I sit down at a video poker machine or gambling, it's just like I turn into like the worst human ever.
Well, and we are definitely not promoting the use of Adderall here. And we are very thankful that you are giving us some tips about that.
Yeah, it's Adderall is it's not this miracle drug that everybody believes that they need to focus at the poker table.
Words of
yeah.
wisdom from a champion.
Um, so after the main event, when you came in third, what was your feeling with that? Like the next day or whatever, what were you like? Oh, cool, the money. Or how much did, like, not to like dig you or anything, but like,
No, dude, it was definitely life changing. I think that, so I had a little success in '99, and I think I left Vegas with 200,000 or 300,000 in a duffel bag, but I was broke shortly thereafter. I'd never experienced money like that, and all of a sudden I thought that I could beat the highest level, the highest limit games, and I thought that I could buy whatever I wanted. But shortly after, I went broke. But um, then now 2004 rolls around, and I think that I went from having like a $50,000 bankroll to having, multiple millions of dollars. Um, I remember laying in the bed that night, just like buying all this stuff. Like, what am I going to do? I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to buy my wife a car, or my wife at the time, buy her a car and buy me a car. And yeah, it was fun. I mean, because it's like, in essence, it's not a lottery, but it's like hitting a lottery,
Right.
because you
Right.
have this avalanche of money that I had never had before, and I'm glad that I had the little success that I had, 5 years prior, and the experience of going broke. One fun fact about that is, I after that, I deposited all the money in my bank, but I wanted a bankroll, so I took $100,000 out cash, and just to have like an operating bankroll, because I was still playing all the time and traveling to tournaments, and
Right.
cash was still widely used back then. But I still have a $10,000 strap from that 100,000 that I withdrew in 2004. So
Wow.
that's like, just a reminder to me of, it's important to stay fluid in cash, as a gambler. So
Well, yeah. So the second time around, you were more prepared for it, so it was nice to have
for
that.
sure, yeah, it was if I hadn't, won a little bit of money prior and lost it all, I probably would have done it, with the 2.5 million that I won, because it happens all the time. I mean, there's so many. If you go back and look at all the people that have won multiple millions of dollars in the main event, um, there's a large percent of them that are broke, um, or gone through the money and not around anymore. But I was prepared, and
Well, and
didn't want to do it again.
I think you and I both know there. Yeah, like kind of like you said, there's a lot of people that you'd think have won a lot, but then either either they didn't manage their bankroll well, or they didn't have as high of a percentage as you'd think of themselves going in, and so I think that's the thing that people miss, and is to be somebody at your kind of level, like that's been in it for a long time, and you know and isn't just doing it for fun, but is like a career. um, there's a lot more that goes into it. you know you can't just be like always taking shots and things like that. So
Right. Yeah, no, and I'm a big take a shot person, but you can't, you just like you said, you can't just like, you're not going to go from a low limit player, and just because you have money, it's not going to make you a winner at the higher limits. Like, the people are playing higher limits and bigger buy-ins for a reason. um and mostly, I mean, yes, there are going to be the whales in the bigger games that just like gambling, but for the most part, the skill sets are there. It's night and day.
yeah, Bobby, do you got a question, comment?
Just a quick question for Josh. First of all, congratulations on number 5, brother.
Thanks, man, I appreciate it.
It's probably not your year for the Hall of Fame, since there's 1,400 people who are eligible and also very qualified. If you had your vote, who gets in this year?
1000% Brian Rest, without a doubt. His resume is like no other. It's you know what's also what sucks is Ted Forrest. Ted Forrest was the man for many, many, many years. Like he was the top of the food chain in the late 90s, the early 2000s. He was the man at the highest limits. He staked half the people. He won all the money, and it's insane to me that he is not in. Um, but Brian Rast is an absolute crusher. He has continued to put up amazing numbers year after year, and I if I had a vote, it would 1,000% be Brian Rast.
Yeah, and he's never been in any kind of like negative thing, even though that's not technically a qualification, but like I don't.
No, he just does his job. He sits down, does his job, plays poker, and he is a role model for uh, every poker player out there. He works hard. I would assume, he studies unlike myself. Um, he goes and he plays in the highest cash games in the world and wins. He beats the biggest, toughest tournaments in the world. Um, there's a lot of controversy, circled around the the Hall of Fame right now with there's the I don't know if they're called contributors or
Yeah,
supporters or
yeah,
but
contributor.
it's
Industry people.
yeah, industry people and there is a place in the Hall of Fame for industry people. But I just if Brian Rast doesn't get in, I already think that the process needs to be updated, especially with and I'm not the first person that said this, with the insurgence of so many great players coming
Right.
of age. And, in the back of my mind, I feel like I'm going to be that bridesmaid for so many years to come because I don't know who, maybe Jason Mercier becomes available next year, Sean Deeb the year after that. All these people are and should be first ballot Hall of Famers. And then you have me, who's been like a career grinder, with not the I don't have the resume or the chops that they have. So hopefully for my sake, they expand the process, maybe let a couple people in every year and then have industry category every other year or something. um,
I think that's a great solution. D Negs is pushing for two candidates every year and then every third year an industry person. I think everybody would get on board, whether it's every other year, every 3 years, whatever. Um, but definitely more than one player nominee or inductee every year is, I think, the way to go.
yeah, and I mean, if you every other sport, there's no sport that one person gets in. I mean,
Right.
it's like, and I understand uh, the process back. They've been doing this for many years, and it's you know back when there wasn't that many poker players and that there wasn't the need, but there really is a need. And um I don't know, hopefully it would be a cool honor to someday get in. I've luckily my results have been good in the last 5 years. It's cool to be in the conversation, but I'm a realist, and I respect, not necessarily my elders, but I respect my fellow competitors, and it's very clear to me that Brian Rast and Ted Forrest. I mean, the list is amazing. And it's like, look at what Matt Savage has done for poker. He's been on the ballot for a long time, and then you have the voices of the World Series of Poker, which it wouldn't be the same without what Lon and Norm have
Right.
done through the years. And then Ted Forrest, who was the man, he was the absolute man for so many years. And Mike Matisow, his contributions to poker, Jeremy Osmus, what he's done the last few years. I mean, I'm leaving out so many. The Grinder, look at the Grinder's resume. I mean,
Yeah.
it's insane. Mike Matisow, Kathy Lee. I mean, the list just goes on and on. And again, I'm just proud to be in the conversation.
Well, and somebody you didn't even mention is like Asai Scheinberg, right? As a contributor, the guy, like, I mean, he set up Poker Stars in a way that was right, right? So
Right.
that when
Yeah. No,
everything
for
fell down,
sure.
he had
Yeah,
the
and then when Full Tilt went under, he was the one that saved the poker community.
He stepped up.
Yeah, I mean, I think he came in and gave $1 billion back to the poker community. I mean, who does that? It's
just completely crazy. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and just to for those that may not know, there were many years that two players were inducted to the Hall of Fame. And it wasn't until really 2020 that we went back to one player. But as late as 2019, 18, 17, 16, 15, we inducted two players each of those years. So I'm
I,
not sure why it was changed, but I think it should be two players.
Josh, I always think I always kind of feel bad. Like I was walking down the hallway at the Rio one time, and remember how the Full Tilt guys had those jerseys with their names on the back.
yeah.
So I see this Ted Forrest jersey, and I literally thought to myself, "Who the heck wears a Ted Forrest jersey?" Like I'm thinking, and then I see him and I go, "Oh!" And I said to him, I thought to myself, "What kind of dork wears a Ted Forrest jersey?" And then I felt kind of bad because he looked at me like you're such a jerk. Like,
Yeah, no, Ted was the man. I mean, he really was. I remember, I believe it was like the year 2000 or 2001, and I was hanging out with Lane Flack a lot, and Lane lived with Ted. And I just remember like going in the trunk, like me and Lane were leaving to go play the tournament, and Lane needed to get money from Ted, and Ted just like opened the trunk of this old Mercedes, and in this like Macy's bag or something, he just reaches in, and there must have been $250,000 just in this trunk of his car. And this is shit that I had never seen. Like I've been
Oh,
around I've been around gambling my whole life, but like seeing a big sack of money that is more money cash than I'd ever seen just sitting in the trunk of a car, um, that was it was really interesting, just seeing the different levels of gamblers and gambling, and like me being exposed to gambling like I'd never seen before was phenomenal.
man, Lane, like, what a nice guy. Honestly, like every time I ever played with that guy, just you knew you were gonna have a good time. And
Yeah, Lane was an entertainer. He was the light of every party. Like if there was a party, he was always holding court. He just brought fun everywhere he went. Him and Gavin as well.
yeah,
Unfortunately, they both had their demons, and but they were both unbelievable poker players and so creative, and they are definitely missed.
but like they have their demons, but like, I mean, and I don't know, I wasn't like in their family dealing with whatever, but like they were the type of people that just really were were enjoyable to be around. It's much different to be around somebody that has their demons and just is belligerent and whatever. It's like it's just every time I ever was around Lane and I wasn't around Gavin as much, but and neither one of them was where I that close to, but like I remember going out if I went out to the Rio. I remember um, Lane would like sometimes be out sitting at the valet for some reason, just sitting there, and I'd be like almost purposely walk over there because I knew like he was gonna be saying something funny and having a good time. So anyway,
Yeah, he was always. I mean, he always seemed to be in a good mood. And yeah, he was. He was definitely one of poker's brightest characters.
he was trying to bet gamble with us on what the average age of the remaining field was.
He would find anything to gamble on.
Just anything. So anyway,
Do you have any? Do you have any fun prop bets right now, Josh?
No, I don't.
he's too focused on the real stuff, Sherry.
Well,
Getting
you know,
bracelets.
last year I had, I think, 5-1 on Sean or Daniel winning the Player of the Year, and I think it was for 10,000 to win 50,000. But the funniest part about it was against Sean. So if Sean won the Player of the Year, he would have owed me 50,000. And I tried to run it back this year, but he didn't want to bet. So yeah, no, I don't have. I have. So I'm on Daniel's fantasy team,
right.
and Daniel literally opens up the betting unlimited to the whole world, like on his team versus the rest. And I have a piece of that. So I think as far as wagers go, that's I just have a bunch of side bets on our fantasy team, and it's really cool because we have a chat that just goes nonstop, and a bunch of guys, me and Nick Schulman and Ben Lamb and Wasserson and Daniel and Wantman, always making fun of each other, and
So tell us
it's fun.
how your fantasy team's going for those that may not be keeping up.
It's great. I mean, I think we're in. I think so. I'm on obviously on Daniel Negreanu's team, and I think we're in fourth or fifth place out of 20 teams, and we have some really good events coming up for us. Like our team is basically a bunch of guys that play PLO really well, and we have the 25K PLO and the 50K PLO coming up.
Awesome.
So it's we expect a lot of points here over the next week, and then we'll take it to the home stretch and see if we can work our way to the top of the leaderboard.
See if one of you can bink the main there and put the whole thing to.
Yeah, that would be pretty amazing.
That would be awesome. You want to give the audience some information about your poker stake?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it's Poker Stake is, where you can go and buy pieces of all the best players in the world. There's so many players of, names that everybody would recognize and not know that these players actually sell pieces of themselves to let the fans get involved. And yeah, it's at pokerstake.com. Check it out.
Well, I did just that. I'm the kind. I always love to research stuff. I'm just curious about how things work, and so I signed up an account so I could stake a few people and just go through the whole process of using your website. And it's very easy to use. I haven't cashed anything out yet because I haven't gotten that far. Um, I have had one horse do really well, and
Good.
won me. I think if my memory serves me correctly, I think I'm ahead a little bit. So, but for those of you that just want to have fun like I do and have a horse in the race, I highly recommend it.
It is great, actually. Like, I probably, honestly, Josh, I probably should just buy pieces because my
Yeah,
odds are a lot better.
it's fun. I mean, it's Daniel, sells pieces regularly. Daniel put his whole package on there. Um, but yeah, I mean, every day. I haven't looked at it in the last couple days. I've kind of tuned out. But there's Eric Seidel's a Hall of Famer. Carrie Katz is on there. Sean Deeb is regularly on there.
Kessler,
Um, and then there's also, so many mid stakes great players that where you can make huge, ROI on your money, on your invest, on your, backing. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun, and we just act as an escrow company, and it's yeah, it's I
I
don't know
think
what
I,
more to say.
I think it's been really good, Josh, in bringing more formality to that whole process. And I don't know. It feels, you could probably talk about it, but it feels much more safer than giving your money to some DJ in the parking lot or whatever.
For
Like,
sure, for sure. This is our third World Series, but we've been a staking company for 2 years now, but this is our third World Series since we had the November World Series in 2021.
mm,
Um, but yeah, I think that what we've done is we've kind of not regulated the market, but we've made it to where you know, uh, it's so much more buyable for somebody that wants to get involved. And back a few years ago, everybody just assumed that they should charge 1.2 or 1.3 markup for everything. But now you're seeing great players sell at no markup, sell at very small markup, and it just makes it affordable and makes it to where you can actually earn in the long run by investing in these players.
I like I heard somebody talk about how what they kind of calculated their markup at, if they calculated whatever their markup at whatever it is, they would try to divide that in half to make some kind of benefit, like to the investor. Is it,
Yeah.
what kind of like methodology do you think is fair for
You
that?
know, I just, it's to each his own. It depends what you're trying to accomplish. Are you trying to, build an audience and, earn on a different level, whether it's from a YouTube page or other social media avenues that pay, or if you're selling something and you're trying to build an audience. But I'm not going to be one to say, because sometimes I charge a higher markup. Like there's events like today that I'm not selling, but if I were to sell, I would charge a premium. But I don't know. It just depends. If you're somebody that really wants to play uh, a 25K buy-in event but really can't afford it, then just sell it no markup. It's you're because it's the the site is an asset to you, because now you're getting to play an event that you wouldn't normally be able to afford or want to afford. So it's just to each his own. You'll see some players out there like Chris Brewer. He sold to some bigger stuff, and he put in the notes. This markup is higher than basically saying you're losing money paying this markup.
Right.
But if you want to invest, or if you want to buy a piece, buy a piece. But because the one thing with poker stake is that the player has to put up the entry fee themselves. We don't
Right.
we don't fund, we don't pay the player the stakings, the stakings raised until after the event. So
Yeah.
there is some responsibility on the player to be able to come up with the entry fee on his own, and then he is refunded if they were to lose. So there is, you keep that in mind, and so that's a little reason to pay a little markup because they have to put all their money up front.
Well, it's
Um,
also, I'm glad that you said that. I've always wondered because, that makes it, you don't have this game of like, I played the event, like, I mean, obviously these events are all tracked and I'm sure you guys get that information back, but
yeah,
it just,
we all like, so what the process is I make every seller take a picture of their receipt next to their starting stack, so that somebody can't just go um, buy in and then cancel and get a refund. So it's there. The picture has to be next to
right,
um, the starting stack, and that isn't foolproof. I mean, I'm sure that somebody with nefarious intentions, they can find a way around that as well.
sure,
But I have an assistant that randomly checks, and if there's anybody that we feel is in jeopardy or we feel isn't doing the right thing, we'll do a little research on the back end and just make sure that everything is the way that it's supposed to be. And we haven't had one person screw anybody yet. And even if that happens, that's on us. But yeah, I mean, the sellers that I've got right now are all pretty good people, for the most part.
yeah,
There's nobody that I'm questioning. And also, we haven't had one player stiff. Not that that even matters. If a player stiffs, we stand good for that. But it's been a smooth process so far. We've hit some road bumps, but for the most part, it's our volume is 2x of what over 2x of what it was last year's World Series. So
right.
we've had a lot of growth, and it's gone fairly smoothly. We've put some cool processes in place, and seems to be going pretty well.
Yeah, I think like I was saying earlier, it way beats the deal before where you're dealing with some shady guy who may or may not play the event or whatever. Like it just way more legit feeling, and obviously there's always risks with anything that you do, but you've certainly done a ton to shore up that whole thing and as much as you can reasonably. So it's definitely a much better process than it used to be by not having a site, not having poker.
Right.
So
Well, guys, I appreciate you having me on. I'm going to start my day and get out of bed.
yep,
Thank
we're
you,
gonna.
Josh. Good luck,
Yeah.
bub.
I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Josh. All right, bye bye, and we'll wrap it up there, Sherry. Sound good?
In the mind of Josh Arieh today. That was fun.
Yeah, yeah, I love that guy.
Well, yeah,
I'll
I
tell you something
appreciate
about
it.
Josh. Josh I didn't even really know Josh put out a thing for my daughter's fundraiser for her Super Bowl pool. The first person to respond was Josh Arieh. He bought a bunch of squares. I was so rooting for him to win. Like, my family's in there and all that. Like, yeah, I was saying, how
Right.
cool would it be if Josh won? Like, it just felt like such a cool thing for him to do, to jump in there and buy a few squares for my daughter's soccer team. So anyway,
Very cool.
I've always liked that guy.
What are you going to play today, Brian?
I don't know. We're
Okay.
we're You know, Sherry, like with me, I'm either playing or heading home, or I may go to back. I may fly back east tomorrow. I've got some work stuff that I probably should go to, but
Okay.
you know, I'm always like the day of. Like yesterday, I almost headed home because we had church and stuff like that today, and just couldn't get my daughter going in time. So, my friends and family, and maybe a lot of you poker players can relate to this. Like during June, like people just know, like I may be here, I may not. You know, like it's
I
like,
think that could be said about many degens.
hey, hey, hey.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
I resemble that remark. So yeah,
Anyone in this room resembles that remark.
yep,
Well,
yep,
everybody have a great day. Thanks for tuning in.
yep. Have a great day. Bye bye.